Hi, I'm John Hope Bryant. I'm the founder, chairman, and chief executive officer of Operation Hope. I'm also the founder of Love Leadership, the new way to lead in a fear-based world. And I'm here today to talk to you about one of my passions, which is the Hope Corps. The Hope Corps is very close to my heart because I grew up in Compton, California, and I grew up in South Central Los Angeles, and there were not many role models around. Luckily for me, I had my father, who was an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur because my daddy was. I saw my dad meet a payroll out of the front door of our house. I saw workers of every race, and so I grew up not being sensitized to race as a factor in my life. It wasn't about white, black, red, brown, or yellow. It was about having some more green. My mother told me she loved me every day of my life. It is extremely powerful to have a child to be told that he or she is loved. I remember coming up with this philosophy inspired by my mother. There was a difference between being broke and being poor. The being broke was economic, but being poor is a disabling frame of mind and a depressed condition of your spirit, and you must vow never to be poor again. I remember, I recount this in my book, Love Leadership, I remember Tweet, who lived next door to me, who did not have good role models, whose mom and dad were missing in action. And he was our local terrorist. He was 97 pounds wet, and everybody was terrified of him. I must admit, me too, as a kid growing up in Compton. But this kid was filled with fear. He was unloved, and he didn't know how to respond to that, so he became angry at the world. And my best friend down the street, George, who was a straight-A student and a sweet guy, but his father didn't show up in his life, and he was a little lost. And while I admired George for being a straight-A student, because I wasn't, he admired Tweet for being so-called cool. Well, he began to walk like Tweet, he began to act like Tweet, he began to dress like Tweet, and ultimately he got shot and killed just like Tweet. George's story was over at age 18. Today, I think about George. A week doesn't go by that I don't think, where would George be today? What mountains would he be climbing? What achievements would he be overtaking? What contributions would he be making in this world? Maybe he'd be a mayor, maybe he'd be a governor, maybe he'd be the CEO of a large company, maybe he'd be an employer, maybe he'd be a father, the father he never had. But his story is over because he had the wrong role models. Well, I was lucky enough to have the right role models, and I may have been broke, but I wasn't poor. And I think about Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Tipping Point. And I've read that book so many times that he talks about, and it's scientifically proven now, that 5% role models a community stabilizes. Not 80% role models, not 50% role models, that's tough. Not 20% role models, that's tough. I get that. At 5% role models, that's doable, and a community stabilizes. Why are you a banker, lawyer, volunteer, fireman? Why are you an entrepreneur? Why are you a small business owner? Why are you a postal worker? Whatever it is you do, why is it? Because you saw somebody do those things. You're modeling your behavior. I used to think that kids in the inner city were, if you want to be a rap star, an athlete, or a drug dealer, you were dumb and you were stupid. Now I realize these kids are brilliant. They're modeling what they see. I mean, that's what gives me hope. They're just modeling what they see. We need to give them something different to see, something positive. So their culture has been hijacked by thug culture. They've been hijacked with a desire to be rich and not to be wealthy. They don't understand that if I don't like me, I'm not going to like you. If I don't feel good about me, I can't feel good about you. If I don't respect me, I'll never respect you. If I don't love me, I don't have a clue how to love you. And if I don't have a purpose in my life, well, I'm going to make your life a living hell. So we've got to show these kids that you can be wealthy and also get rich. But wealth comes from the inside out, where we're getting rich just comes from the outside on. And so how do we do that? It's no rocket science. It's what my mother did for me. It's what somebody did for you. Let's be the change we want to see in the world. 5% role models will stabilize any community. And so let's give these kids something different to see. We've made dumb sexy for too long. Quincy Jones says it takes 20 years to change a culture. He's the co-chair of our 5MK movement, 5 million kids that break the back of the high school dropout generation in America. Well, we've made dumb sexy for the last 20 years. We need to make smart sexy again. We need that young girl in that classroom to look at you, and after the course in dignity where you tell your story, after a course in financial literacy, checking, savings, credit, investment, the history of banking, where some banker teaches them the language of money, where an entrepreneur comes in and teaches entrepreneurship. We need for that young girl to say, "I can be you." We need that young man to see a man with a suit on who I mean, it's a miracle. He's never saw it before, and say, "Wow, I can be you." I remember when a banker came in my classroom for the first time with a suit on, blue suit, white shirt, red tie. I remember it was yesterday. And I remember asking the guy with amazement, "Man, what do you do for a living? And how do you get rich legally?" I want to do that. And I started my first business when I was 10 years old, man. I was an entrepreneur, and I've been an entrepreneur ever since. It's not rocket science. It's just modeling good behavior. And so let's give these kids something positive to see. Let's be the change we want to see in the world. And I guarantee you, I'll make this one positive bet with you. You do this. You join the 12,500 Hope Corps volunteers who are out there in 70 urban communities in America that Operation Hope serves in Haiti and also in South Africa, or with Global Dignity through a course in dignity in 50 countries the last time we did Global Dignity Day. You join this movement. And I guarantee you at some point you'll be inspired to write a note to me or a teacher that you visited or somebody who you admire. And you'll say, "Wow, I did this and I gave a lot, but I got so much more," because the more you give, the more you get. This is your legacy. This is your chance to change the world. One person can make a difference. As Gandhi said, be that one person.